With the NFL season fastly approaching, here's something to look for in the first game of the year. The schedule makers always get it right with the season opener. That's why Cowboys at Philadelphia versus the Eagles is going to be an absolute banger. I think that we're lucky to see how the George Pickens experiment is going to end up with this week one matchup against the Eagles. They have a young, great secondary, and George Pickens is going to be seeing their second best corner on him all game. I think this allows CD to get a lot of favorable matchups himself as well. I am really looking forward to the war in the trenches for this game. Both lines on both sides of the ball are great. I was kind of marking this matchup before the Micah Parsons trade. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen with this Dallas defense now that Micah is gone. I think week one against a good offensive line in Philly, you're going to be missing Micah immediately, and we'll be able to see the impact that his presence not being there will have on this team immediately. And then on the flip side of the ball, the Eagles are in their defensive line are also dealing with a similar thing where their defensive line has been kind of crushed in this offseason, losing many players such as Milton Williams and Josh Sweat, who really helped them in the postseason last year win their Super Bowl. But with their departures on the D-line, they made up for it with bringing in Azeez Ojulari and Josh Uche. Both, I think, are extremely undervalued players, and I could see both of them becoming absolute studs and stars on this D-line the way that they'll be utilized this year. I think Azeez was the most undervalued free agent this offseason, so the fact that Philly was able to land him for a very reasonable contract is lucky for them. Same goes with Josh Uche. I think that he's going to bring a presence and bring a lot of sacks with him. I think that both of them could have potential to have double-digit sacks. Like, they are those kinds of players, and both were signed for very little money. Dallas is going to be heavily depending on Dak because that backfield is so mid-tier, but we'll see what's going on there week one. I think that's going to be very interesting to see if Javonte Williams can become the player that he was his rookie year and before he kind of lost a step. See if any of those guys kind of shake out as a lead back or if they're going to go with a committee. This Cowboys defense before the Micah trade, it seemed like they were trying to revamp that defense. They lost DeMarcus Lawrence, and then they brought in Peyton Turner, Dante Fowler. I think those are good pickups. I think that they would have lined up well across from Micah, but we'll see how they can do without having Micah's presence on that D-line. I really liked the trade for Kenneth Murray to replace Eric Kendricks in the linebacker room. I think that he'll be a good leader on that defense. This is just going to be all around great test for the Dallas secondary with extending Deron Bland. We'll see how he does, but that secondary obviously has their work cut out for them week one going against A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So this is why I think that this is going to be potentially game of the week. I mean, they always get it right with this first matchup of the year. Going to be in Philadelphia. They're going to put on a great show. Very excited for this game. And we will see what happens with both teams with such crazy shakeups on both teams' defensive lines as well as pieces moving on the offense. So with that being said, please like, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and we will be covering more games to come.